Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the
Live, Laugh, Lore podcast.
We're your hosts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark.
And we have a special guest today.
Ooh, special.
Yeah, we have Dr. Ben here. And I was going to do it to him. He doesn't necessarily like when I bring up the whole PhD thing. But yes, This is a monumental episode for Live, Laugh, Lore because this might be the most degrees we've had in this room so far. Got 2 masters and a PhD, so
the most.
Well, 3 masters and a PhD if Ben's counting for 2.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So, Ben, we worked together also. We've just finished up a 1.5
It's
campaign.
like 16 months or something like that.
D&D campaign, yeah.
The 1% of D&D campaigns that finish. We did it.
Yeah. And it was also more impressive because I also tell my friends, other friends, they're like, oh, yeah, do you do D&D? And I was like, guys, I don't want to brag or anything. But we did a 1.5 campaign. They're like, oh, you only meet like once a month. I was like, oh, no. We were every
Weekly,
week.
dog. Yeah.
And we were able to, because that's like the big thing, Mark, in D&D is scheduling and everything like that.
They always fizzle out.
They always fizzle out. So Ben and I, we have been, through thick and thin during work, which was kind of funny because we were both working together. And I was like, first off, we brought down the average age by like 20 years in our office. So I was like, this Ben guy's pretty rad. And then we were talking, and I don't know how we got into it. I think it was either Baldur's Gate or D&D, because then we did Baldur's Gate together, too. Yeah. So it was Tuesdays we were doing Baldur's Gate. Wednesday we were doing D&D. It's like I almost saw Ben more than my wife, because for 40 hours we were working together, and then I was playing Baldur's Gate and D&D.
Your work husband.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Sorry, Jenna. But
until he left his cube, and we kind of divorced.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was not. It was either party. The company just thought. No, I'm joking. No. We just got us on separate projects. But no, then we're in Kingdom Death Monster playing a lot of that. But no, so. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Ben. You want to introduce yourself?
Do we do last names here, or are we incognito?
Well, we say well, you said it. Yeah,
we've said it before. We've said it.
So Ben Reinhardt here.
Yep.
I'm 32 male. I'm a scientist type. I took the social anxiety feat. So it gives me a +2 to intelligence, but. I'm riddled with
-1 charisma.
Yeah.
Is that wisdom or an intelligence trait? What is that?
It's an extra ability. Yeah.
It's the eighth trait. Yeah.
Happy to be here. Like Tony said, super nerd. Kind of talked about what I was interested in today. Big Pokemon guy, big anime, Dragon Ball Z guy. So maybe we'll get into some of that.
We have not gone to either of those topics.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of anime, but not.
And maybe we talk about Pokemon a little bit. Oh, yeah, anime in general, but not Dragon Ball Z.
Or Pokemon.
So I feel like I was I was the wave for Pokemon. So like millennial age. 1999 was when the anime came out. I was 7 years old. It was one of the first video games I ever played was Pokemon Red. I was
Game
Red.
Boy Color?
No, original Game Boy.
Oh.
They were on the original.
Big one, yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Pokemon Yellow was color. The original Red and Blue were on the OG Game Boy.
OG. Yeah.
No color.
Yeah.
We had blue growing up. Yeah.
We were a Crystal what was that? It was Sapphire and Crystal with Lugia and
second gen Gold.
Gold
and Silver.
Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why I went the other way.
Man, you didn't start at Gen 1, Tony?
Wow. I don't think I did. I remember specifically, and the only reason why it even happened, which is this is unlocking core memory. I'll ask Josh to verify these details at some point. But we actually went to a garage sale, and they had Game Boy Colors there, and we were just like through the moon. We had like 2 games that were like really crappy. I don't even remember what the games were, but then we would go down to Florida.
Like Tetris or something? Yeah.
Yeah, something dumb. And then so we would go down to Florida, and then that was our one time where like our parents, which now thinking back to it is a brilliant parenting move, they would let us buy one game before we went on like a really long car trip. It was like a family thing. We did it every year right around Easter. We'd always go down to Florida. And I always was just like, there's some part of me, like, around Easter, I'm almost like, look at Jenna nowadays where I'm like, dude, where's my game?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
get the Switch game, man.
Yeah, get something. But my parents would do that. And the reason why I think it was so brilliant parenting is because we were so quiet. And that was when Silver and Gold was coming out. And so Josh was like, "Oh, I really like gold," and I was like, "Loser," you know what I mean? Like, Lugia? Are you kidding me? She's my freaking girl, dog. You know what I mean?
Isn't that crazy how you become so attached to the cover Pokemon? Like,
Yeah.
it's a very binary decision. Like, you're one or the other.
Yep.
100%.
And thank God Josh was one and I was the other.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way to convince my mom. Because she was like, "Wait, it's the same game." And I
No,
was
no,
like,
no.
no,
Oh, God.
no.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. Very different.
All right, Mom, how do I sit down and tell you? You know what I mean? So
Do you not see the color?
Yeah. So thankfully she believed it, but that was like the first game I ever like chugged. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
grinded because
You can play forever.
oh yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like what a 14-hour drive. You know what I mean? Or 6, whatever it was from Ohio to Florida, and we were nonstop. The only thing was Game Boy Color didn't have backlit LED, but one of us had to switch because we had, the adapter that
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we were switching back and forth. So, and then I'd watch him play. Oh, dude,
Which was like, it was like a USB 1 plug.
Yeah.
but it
One
drained your
step
battery.
above FireWire.
Oh, yeah.
It drained your battery though so hard.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
we had AA batteries.
So there was
crazy.
that, or like playing by streetlight. Like you're just
Yeah.
you're tilted
Yeah,
towards the
angled.
window.
I'm in a battle. I don't know what my health is.
Yeah.
Where do I go here? But yeah, so that just unlocked a huge core memory
Yeah.
because I thought it was actually Color that released it, but you're saying original Game Boy.
Yeah, so the original models for all the Pokemon were grayscale. So you didn't have any color.
Not even color, yeah.
Which is interesting when you think back. When I first started playing Pokemon, I was kind of thinking about this on the drive over here. Like, I didn't have any context about like what color these things were. Like, they were just these gray. And if you look back at the Gen 1 sprites, wild.
Yeah.
Like, half of them don't even resemble anything like what they are now.
Dude, that's like half the reason I picked Pokemon. I'll be honest. Like, I was like, they're blue.
Oh, yeah, what they
You're
look like.
coming
Yeah.
with me. Yeah. How'd you even know shiny? I don't think there
Even-
wasn't an instance of
Not
shiny.
back then, no.
Okay,
and
yeah.
even when new games come out now, like I prefer to play them blind because it's fun to like just not know like what a Pokemon is, right? And what it's going to turn into, like what type it is.
Oh, even the evolution of it.
Yeah.
You're nice. Back to the olden days, dude. Mm-hmm. That's crazy to think about. Mark, did you play a lot of like Pokemon like that? I didn't Google. That's what kind of got me out of like newer Pokemon because it got so complicated. I was like, dude,
I think
what? I just remember getting my boys and like just getting Squirtle up to Blastoise and just
I think
hauling.
there might be close to 1,000 now. I think.
Yeah, they're on like
Yeah.
Gen what?
Yeah, but there's
5,
one
6?
that looks like an ice cream cone, so
Yeah.
I gave up kind of hope.
There's a pair of keys.
Yeah.
I did play a lot of Pokemon Go though. So in like New Zealand, that was kind of fun because I was like, my current.
Kangaskhan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I caught a Magikarp out there, and I've been playing Pokemon Go, not really serious, but on and off. But I finally got my 400 candies for Magikarp, so I made the New Zealand one into my Gyarados, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is peak!" And I literally deleted the app after it because I was like, "I'm not gonna get better than this." So
Yeah, I played Pokemon a lot as a kid. I played Gens 1, 2, and 3. I think is 3 Emerald, Sapphire.
Sapphire.
So that's where I stopped after that. But Emerald was my favorite game. I probably played through that game like 10 times.
I was one generation past that. So when I was saying Emerald, and that's third gen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in second gen with Gold and Silver.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. All right.
And Emerald was the first time where they really leaned into story. There was a lot of story and lore in that game that the previous ones kind of had, but also not really.
Because we are a lore podcast,
yes.
so we should probably.
Yeah, so Gen 3, they talked a lot about, because the two cover legendaries were like Kyogre and Groudon, which represented like the earth and the sea, and the main conflict in that story was like one overtaking the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you had Rayquaza, who just flew around
Yes.
in the high tower.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You had to save right before you went up to him, and so then because if you didn't catch him on the first try,
you're done.
He was
He won't come back.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
level 70, I think,
Oh,
in
yeah.
those games. Yeah.
I
Big
spent
boy.
a long time, trying to catch him.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. All right, one more Pokemon story, just because
No,
this
please.
is very
All the Pokemon
relevant. No,
stories.
this is very relevant. During high school, we had these computers, and they're like little MacBooks, and how the game got on it. Let's not worry about that. But a bunch of my friends and I had Pokemon. I think it was Emerald, but the whole point is we save scum. That's what reminded me of it. So we saved Scum, and we had bets because we were like going right for a legendary Pokemon. Because it got to a point where you didn't stumble upon legendary Pokemons. Like they're in one area.
Yes, they
So
have
then-
like caves that you go to.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, here's Articuno or whatever. I think it actually was Articuno. Now I'm thinking about it. But the whole point is that context. We were stage crew for the musical. It was Tech Week, so we had to paint all this stuff and move all this stuff and blah blah blah, do whatever. So, but there was times where there's down period because there'd be a scene for 10 minutes or whatever, and then we had to go out and change it and go back. So we all had our little MacBooks in the corner, like behind the stage, and we were just like doing whatever. The reason why this is important is because it was the last day of Tech Week where they do the recording. You can like all the parents buy it and stuff because they don't want to record during an actual night. They want to record like when it's like the dress rehearsal, so to speak. So it's the dress rehearsal. We're playing, and we're all taking like bets. We're like, okay, who's gonna get Articuno first? No damage, no anything. Just throw a Pokeball
Straight
at
Pokeball.
it. Straight
Wow.
Pokeball and see what happened. So we turned up our emulators to like 400%, so it would like go quick, and we were just mashing our A key, right? And so we were going and going. It took us like 152 balls. You know what I mean? In the span of like 40 minutes, we were just hammering the A key. Then one guy was like, "Dude, watch this," and goes in. I crap you not, one Pokeball hits it. And we were just like, because at this point, we were so engrossed in what we were doing. We didn't know, we forgot where we were. We were behind the curtains. And we were just like, oh! And we did the whole thing. Turns out, mid-play,
Yeah.
and it was recording, and it was like the scene where it's like, all this emotional and everything like that. And I can't remember.
Romeo's yelling up to the tower.
Yeah, and it was the pajama game. So whatever, that's not that important. But that was the theme. But we were, and that made it into the final cut. So then at the party when they rewatched it, like even the actors on stage reacted to us yelling, and we got in a lot of trouble because then they found that there's Pokemon on our game and why we did it. And
So
we're
then,
like,
the ultimate question: was it worth it?
oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now thinking back to that,
To
like
get a
I
legendary
remember
bird on one Pokeball.
Yes.
one
Wild.
Pokeball, dude. Nick was like,
That's the stuff of legends.
dude. We would walk around the next day, and everyone in band and chess were like, dude, this guy's.
That's
Rock.
Nick. Did you hear what he did?
Dude, it was like an equivalent of like a kickflip in front of the principal. You're like,
Oh yeah.
this guy's got it. Yeah. So
It's a fist pump at the end of Breakfast Club.
yeah. Sorry for the stories, but oh my gosh, it's just all this. I forgot how entwined Pokemon was in my early adulthood.
Yeah,
as a
everybody.
kid.
Yeah, everybody was a part of their childhood, especially people our age, right? I remember. So I was 7 years old when the anime debuted, and a friend called me on the landline at the house because the game came out, and then the anime came out like 6 months later in the U.S. So we had been playing the games, and he called me on the landline. This was before school. For some reason, they premiered it at like 8 a.m. or something, or like 7 a.m.
Was it a weird like Japanese?
No, it was like it was a dubbed version.
Oh, it was dubbed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, they went hard in the States with
Yeah.
Pokemon. Yeah, kind of took a gamble with it actually, and they just like
It was
really
such a cash cow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember he called me on the landline, and he was like, "Dude, turn on the TV to I think it was Cartoon Network, I think."
Yeah.
And it was a Pokemon theme song. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
the
Oh, man.
original Pokemon theme song.
Wanna be. Yeah. Oh,
It's
so
like
good.
a rock anthem.
It is. I saw the interview of the guy who sings the theme song. He, is a no-name guy, and he like
Whoa,
worked,
no, man.
well at that
Yeah.
point,
At that
worked,
point, yeah.
worked for this like small commercial company like that made like TV commercials, and they're like,
Oh, he was a jingle writer.
yeah, and so they're just like, we have this little jingle. Can you go in and sing it for us?
Yeah.
And he's like, sure, and he sang it, but he just like, there's something different about this. So he put his heart into it, and
I love
next
that.
thing you know, he
Oh
made
man,
his career
Ketchum.
on it.
Yeah.
Like, he goes around and just sings this song
because the heart came through.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Yeah.
It's like that's like the equivalent of Phil Collins with Tarzan stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's like, Phil, we're going to have this animated thing
Yeah.
about this baby
just-
getting raised by gorillas.
It's
He's
just
like,
a silly cartoon.
say less.
No big deal.
Yeah, right.
I love the reels where it's like someone on the piano and the piano's on fire. It's like
Yeah.
Phil Collins writing. But that guy, too, that's awesome. And he was just a jingle writer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Because that song goes so hard.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And I hope he like came back for the rest of them.
I think so. I mean,
You'd hope,
he
right?
still sings it, right?
Yeah,
But he doesn't have to work anymore
Yeah.
because he just makes
dude,
bank off
royalties,
that song. You know?
hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still making. By the way, they're still making.
Oh,
them.
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Like my nephew is watching it, and that was like one of the cool bonding things where my mom's like, "Dude, how do you remember all this?" I was like, "You watched me
Yeah.
do the same thing when I was young. Like I
Yeah.
watched hundreds of hours of this
So
thing."
so
like,
big deal though. Ash Ketchum he's not
Got
the main
champion.
He got champion, and now he's not the main character anymore.
No, yeah.
So the newest version of the anime, yeah, it's
It's
I
not
forget,
Ash, right?
I forget her name. It's a young girl, but
See, I'm okay with that because if Ash was still 11 years old, 25 years later,
Yeah.
you know, something's going on.
well, there's a
and-
lot of ramifications when you start thinking about what's happening in
Yeah.
both the anime and the games, which is like, I kind of wanted to talk about a few of them. It's like when you
Yeah.
start peeling away the onion, it's like, man, this world is either something really wrong happened here, or they
Or-
didn't really think a lot about
Yeah.
the implications of this lore.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause-
first and foremost, you know, there's a theory out there that I think it's kind of true that Professor Oak sent Ash away so he could
Yep,
get with
yep.
his mom. You know,
Oh, okay, that I can kind of believe.
I can get
Because
behind
he's
that
also
one.
like he's also being like, here's this really incredibly expensive technology, which I'm
Yeah.
assuming is expensive technology.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, go wild, pick
and I'm
one of
try-
your favorites and get out of my hair.
And I'm trusting you, this untrained young kid, to populate the dictionary of all of the fauna in the world that we're going to
Yeah.
base our research on.
And what better
all right,
way to
Lewis
give
and
him?
Clark, get going.
There's no end in sight because
Yeah.
you also have the mystery. What's the letter? You know what I mean? The
The unknown.
unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally like you're looking for literally an
Yeah.
unknown.
Well,
like-
and also Ash is like the reject. Like he's the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
yeah,
like he has
except
the
Gary. Nobody likes Gary.
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah. But Gary, man, cool guy.
Yeah.
Oh, growing up, Gary was the bee's knees.
Yeah, I also want to know the lore behind like the bug catchers that are just sitting in tall grass going, yeah, I'm going to find somebody. There's going to be an 11-year-old kid who walks by here. I'm going to pester him.
Yeah. So the Pokemon type thing is super interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So there's the whole okay, if we put ourselves in the world, right? Pokemon in their world are really just animals because there's no like dogs or cats. Like it's just Pokemon. So in their world, animals are valued by how easily they can beat up other animals. And it's not weird. It's just the way that they talk about their animals.
Yeah, Michael Vick would like be in
Yes.
paradise.
Yeah.
And then also, there's this weird etymology thing where Pokemon have types, like the bug type.
Yeah.
And how effective they are at beating up other animals is based on their type. So it's like, but that's a human impressed etymology. So it's like,
Oh,
is
yeah.
it we called you a bug type, therefore you are now forever weak to fire, or is it like we just so happen to see this relation?
Yeah.
And is it like a chicken and egg thing?
Yeah, I don't know, and it gets like odd too because you're also presumably taking them out of their ecosystem and putting them in these spheres that God knows what is it a different dimension? Is it do
Yeah, I
they
don't know.
experience time?
It somehow it kind of looks like it digitizes them.
Yeah,
And
they
turns
just-
them into light.
I think it's like a Star Trek
Trapped,
transporter.
you know?
It's
Yeah.
literally like I transport you, and then can you think about like that's the other thing too? Not only like the type and etymology, but like they're effectively because if there's time passed, then in theory you could assume that they would get more experience, but you don't.
But no,
It's only when they come out.
only through fighting.
So then
Yeah.
you're like, let's think about that implication. It's like, holy crap!
in
you're
order to
literally
grow,
bleeding.
you have to fight, and
Yeah.
not just fight, defeat other
Fight
other
good.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pikachu gets special treatment. He doesn't get to go in the Pokeball, right?
No.
All the other ones do, but
Yeah.
that's Pikachu.
Isn't that another thing too? Like the earlier games let you actually let Pikachu run with you.
So it
like
depends
he was
on
like run behind.
It depends
you
on
or
the game.
something, right?
Pokemon Yellow,
Yeah.
Pikachu was always behind you, and then in some of the so they've done remakes of Gold and Silver, Heart Gold and Soul Silver that came out on the Nintendo DS.
That's pretty
And in those, any Pokemon could follow you.
Oh,
and you just it was like the first Pokemon in your party. They would just walk behind you. Yeah, so that's a feature that's come and gone. Like sometimes
Okay.
it'll be there, sometimes it won't be there.
Yeah. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you think about the applications, and then you also have the breeding, which is like later on. I think you can do the eggs, right?
Gen 2.
Was
Gold
that really
and Silver,
Gen 2?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was like 3 or 4.
No, right
but
away.
then think about that too, because then you're going, I'm this preordained
Mm-hmm.
man-made type. I'm going to put you with another that man-made, like,
But
let's see
so
what
there's an
happens.
extra layer beyond that. So the breeding capability is not determined by their fighting type, like bug, fire, water. It's determined by they have egg groups. So there's egg groups
Okay,
called
you know
like
way more than holy crap. I
yeah.
don't know.
So there's egg groups called like Meadow or like dragon or humanoid is an egg group.
Okay, that's a little.
Like
That's-
Mr. Mime.
Yes. So also
Oh,
there's
that's you.
there's some pretty humanoid Digimon or not Digimon. Oh gosh,
Whoa.
Pokemon.
Dude, hope we don't have any.
Mr. Mime, Jinx,
Yeah.
Mewtwo.
Kadabra.
Well, with the eggs, I remember like putting them in the daycare, and you put any Pokemon in the daycare.
Yeah.
But I remember being so proud of myself because at that time I had the Game Boy Advance, which was flat. And I set up this little contraption because they would level up based on the amount
Your
of steps.
steps. Mm-hmm.
So I got a bike. The bike that didn't go up the mountain, but it would just bounce you back. And I set up this pencil that would just keep them going. I just let it go all night. I came back the next morning, my Pokemon was
Mark's freaking farming, dude.
Farming back in the Game Boy Advance
Oh
days.
my
Man,
gosh, dang, dude.
that's wild.
Just go-
That's very smart.
Yeah, replace the AA batteries every
You
other
go to
night.
school, you come back, it's level 100.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's unreal.
But then the other part of that is you had to pay to get them out of. You remember this? You had to
Yeah.
pay to get them out of the daycare. And
Oh,
it was
really?
it was based on the number of levels they gained. So if a Pokemon gains like 80 levels, you might not have enough money to
Dang,
take
Mark,
them away.
you were bankrolling all that?
You had to do what you
gotta do what you gotta do,
I
man.
mean, yeah, but
give away Pokemon. You find rare potions and sell
Yeah.
it. You know.
yeah, I think I wildly misplayed the eggs then because I always thought it was based on type. I didn't realize there's groups.
Yeah, so,
So
it
I
was
probably
like,
messed that up
I
pretty
think
hard.
a lot of it overlaps. Like a lot of fire
Oh.
type Pokemon could mate with fire type Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this like this
That makes sense.
egg group part of it, and then it gets into the competitive battling scene because there's special egg moves that you can only learn by
Oh.
being hatched from an egg.
Yep.
Like you can't so a Charizard can only learn like Dragon Breath or whatever. I don't know if that's true, but can only learn it if it's hatched from an egg, and only if its parents were like bred of a certain Pokemon. I keep wanting to say,
that's what I was about to say.
I keep wanting to say Digimon.
How did you also find this out with? So that's also an amazing thing. You're saying like you never looked this up. You were just
Oh no! I've looked this up. So
okay. For a second,
context,
I was like, dude, if you like were one, because there's like Elden Ring people who are
Yeah.
literally like, oh yeah, I found this. I'm like, what did you like? Oh, I just played the game for
Yeah.
200 hours and I literally rolled on every single wall and found all the invisible walls, and it's like, holy, the trial and error on that is insane. So like Pokemon, if you're breeding that, that's
no. So
insanity
for
to figure that
context,
out.
I've beaten every Pokemon game that's come out multiple times, except for the newest ones, which their name is escaping me right now. But
Dang, that's impressive. I stopped at Arceus.
Arceus, yeah,
Arceus, that's what it was.
So a lot of hours, man. I don't even know if I had to estimate. So like completing a Pokemon game probably takes 20, 25 hours, right? There's been
And
like,
you were like completing, or when you say complete, do you mean
beat
there's
the
two
Elite,
different like
beat the Elite Four.
Oh, beat the Elite Four. Okay.
I don't think I've ever completed a Pokedex.
Like you never did
that's
a
a whole other
Pokedex.
thing.
Oh, some
yeah.
people get hard in the
Some
paint.
people do, yeah. So probably 20 to 25 hours per game, and there's probably I think there's 8 generations now, but then there's multiple ones. So we say 10 games, so that's 250 hours, and then I've done a lot of them multiple times. So I mean, it's probably close to like 500 hours
Yeah.
in Pokemon.
But I mean, if you started young,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I
No,
mean,
it's worth it.
yeah.
I'm proud of
That
the
should never be a
progress.
sad number. That should be that's a happy number. Man. That's a life well lived.
A lot of trips to Canada.
Yo,
Same thing for me.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so we took so my mom's Canadian, so we would take 2 trips every year over Christmas and 1 over summer break to Canada. And same thing. Same thing
far
for
is
you
the
to
drive?
Florida. It's 8 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So
dude. it's
easy.
grind.
Yeah.
Just grinding Pokemon. Yeah.
And you didn't have to probably share it with your sister, so
Oh,
you
no.
were
No.
Oh, dude, your
Yeah.
money.
She was reading books.
nerd. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You take your lunch money like at the gas station. You know?
And she's super well adjusted now, which is weird.
Oh,
I'm not.
boo, yeah.
Who would have thought? Yeah.
Yeah, some of those long car rides as a kid, like I think about that a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I swear that's like half the reason why I like never get motion sickness or anything,
Yeah.
like in a car, because I'm like, dude,
You've
too
been
busy
trained.
grinding,
Yeah.
baby.
Distracted.
Yeah, this shiny Gyarados isn't gonna catch itself, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gotta.
Yeah.
But I had friends who literally had like did the stopwatch, and they were like save scumming, and they were doing the ones where like they're trying to get shinies. So it's like shiny farming, and there's like a certain save with this many frames after this many seconds. Like the
you can-
probability of a shiny is like what do you call it? More probable.
Yeah. Well, you can like do things to discover what seed you're playing on, what random seed you're playing on, and then you can like
Yeah.
time the steps and everything. It gets pretty
And it's
crazy.
gotten even more wild with this with the Switch. I think think it's a Switch. I can't remember if it's a Switch or what. But basically, now that most of these are either getting emulated, where you can get the seed, people think that's kind of cheating because you're like you can program it in. But there's ways you can actually. So I know some people on the Switch who they're all computer science. But that's one of my buddies who's a computer science guy who did it. But basically, they wrote a algorithm. It would just constantly do these series of steps. So it was a way of shiny farming because like you're by this area with so many ticks, you have so many wait periods, but it doesn't guarantee you the shiny. It's just a probability of the shiny occurring is higher or low or higher presumably. So then what they were doing was they were just constantly like save scumming. So it'd like save, walk out, wouldn't see a shiny because like image processing was just saying shiny or not shiny. That's all it was doing. It wasn't even that crazy. So you'd program your configuration of how many moves you want to do, shiny, not shiny, turn off the game. Program the thing, shiny, not shiny, turn off the game. And then when it was shiny, it would wait there. So then he would go home from work and like go in and he'd go, oh, found a shiny.
I got one ready.
yeah. And I was like, what the heck?
That takes so much of the fun out of it, right?
Oh, I know, but for him, it was like figuring that loop out.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, that's so cool because like it's not just any graphics capture card that you need. You can get a specific one, and he's like also like he's like not getting into assembly, but he's like actually hard coding some of these.
Well, the ingenuity that's involved there is for like what is he 12?
Yeah, I love
that's
it.
wild.
Yeah. So it was just like kind of like what he was doing when he was younger. He just automated when he was older after he learned it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and that's like what kind of inspired him to get into computer science. So I don't know.
That's what it is, right? Yeah.
But I love when he was talking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's like we're like living out the Big Bang Theory right now. Like this is actually what I mean?
That's Sheldon just
a bunch of nerds
getting shiny
figuring it out.
Pokemon over there. Yeah.
But
So, have you played any of the non-Game Boy Pokemon games? I don't know if you remember me having these games, Tony, but on the Nintendo 64, there was like
the
Stadium?
Battle Arena.
oh
Yes.
yeah, the Pokemon Stadium. This was so
Stadium?
much
That
fun.
was the first stadium on Nintendo 64 when they were in 3D was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just seeing them fully rendered, 3 dimensions. Oh,
Well, it was so fun. It was just, it's like a sports game announcer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what a
Yes.
hit. Pidgeotto goes down. You know?
it's super effective. Yeah, that put it in that drove the excitement to like another level where it was like this gladiatorial event. I mean, they called the second one Coliseum.
I was about to say,
Pokemon
what's the
Coliseum, yeah.
I remember. I thought it was Battlegrounds, but
It was
Stadium or
it
whatever.
was Stadium and then Coliseum.
Coliseum. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember going to like Pepe's Playhouse and playing that.
and
Remember Kroger had a Pepe's Playhouse? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, with the N64 cabinet.
Yeah.
Spyro?
So then, Spyro. I played that on the original PlayStation. So I was like,
Spyro. What? How far has he fallen? Spyro was like the coolest.
it was the game.
Oh my gosh!
It was the game.
And where is Spyro? Why is there no Spyro on
Yeah.
PS5?
It was PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
But why did they not bring it along? I don't know.
He didn't make it past the original PlayStation, right? There's no PS2 Spyro game.
I thought he made it past. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like I said, dude,
Cortex's Revenge was like
was
PS1. And I think that's the.
Dang. Okay, now I'm
They did
thinking-
remakes. They did a lot of remakes.
Yeah.
They re-released it a
People
lot.
emulate the crap out of it. It's
Yeah.
like Super Mario N64.
Yeah.
People emulate the crap out of it.
One of my favorite characters growing up was the cheetah on Spyro. The cheetah friend. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But just it was just like he was cool and nonchalant, and I was like, yeah, man, it's so cool not to care about stuff.
This guy's rad.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember the Puppies Playhouse. But that was the only time I really played PlayStation. Because you guys had Xboxes growing up. None, like, I didn't have any friends who were PlayStation.
See,
so we were only Xbox boys.
I was PlayStation exclusive to this day.
Dang,
Yeah.
dog. All right. We're going to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, I see you guys. It's good to be here.
We bought a traitor amongst us. All right. Once you think you know somebody.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about our other guests, but Sean, our guest for the
Star Wars.
revamp for the of the Rise of the Revamp, that was the episode. So, also a PlayStation guy.
Really? I didn't know. Geez, you think you know somebody? Golly.
no, right.
Yeah, but no, that's why I just remember. That was like, I was excited to go to grocery store with my mom. Which, why'd they take that out? You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? I mean, even as an adult,
Yeah. You still
I
see
would,
him.
I would rip it. I'd
You
rip
still
like
see him every
hour
once in a
or two.
while. I will
Really?
see like Switch stations every once in a while.
Oh, that'd be so
But
sick.
yeah,
dude.
they used to be at like every Walmart, at every GameStop. They were-
McDonald's used to have the.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh my
Dude.
gosh.
Oh.
Yes.
they're the controllers that were in that thing. You know what I mean? That little
Yep.
cord connected, and you had to sit there.
You had to like insert your hands into the cabinet.
Yeah. Was that-
Do they watch this? No, probably not.
No.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think that was like the era of GameCube. Did they have what even what even systems did they have in there? Because
I thought it was Nintendo, but it could have evolved into GameCube. Yeah.
I don't know. But now the only time you really get that is at GameStop, and now GameStop barely does it anymore.
How are they even open still?
I know.
That's
Yeah,
what
right.
are they
Well,
selling?
Reddit people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the stonks.
They actually
yeah.
do. So Ben has some props here.
Yeah, I got some plushies.
Yeah, that's awesome. They sell a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, so I got. Do we know the
Caterpie.
Caterpie
Yep.
and Pikachu? Of course. Yeah.
You really put. Yeah.
Really stretched
Why are we
it.
gonna stop there? Yeah. I was like Caterpie. I think. Yeah. No, I think they do that. But you know what I mean? Though I don't know. Just kind of reminiscing about Pokemon
Yeah.
and all that. It's kind of crazy to think back. Like that was in every store. Now you
Yeah.
don't really see it all that often.
The world was so different. So I think two big things: pre-internet and just that first generation of video game systems were just so like you could do whatever.
Yeah, and they weren't like so complicated where
No.
you needed a guide or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah, you would
the
just
older
get-
kids would come and you're like,
Yeah.
they would tell you this one thing like if you press BB up, and
Yeah.
you're like, no way, and
Yeah.
then you just do it and you do it for like 30 minutes.
And the rumors surrounding Pokemon.
oh yeah,
Like if you go under the truck, you can catch Mew.
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like these like you'd hear about them on the schoolyard. You go home and try it, and it wouldn't work. Oh,
you're right. The internet did kind of take that away.
Yeah.
I mean, I
'Cause
don't know,
now you
it
just
just took
look
away
at-
the allure of it.
yeah,
you know?
the mystery.
Yeah.
So that first generation of Pokemon and the second was pre-internet. Or like I think kind of at the same time, but like not the internet as it is today.
Yeah,
it was like
it
Ask
wasn't
Jeeves
accessible,
Was,
yeah. I was about to say Google is
Yeah.
Google is not that old.
No,
It's like
no.
20s.
2008, I think.
Probably even less. Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say it was. Yeah, that's crazy to even think about. But
Yeah, 16 years, I think.
yeah, I mean, I would still remember. I mean, we might be the last generation. I mean, I don't know. We might be the last generation of it. But like the whole fact of like going in and there's actual game like magazines and like
Yes.
manuals for this game, and they're like, hey, if you're struggling,
Yeah.
here you go. I remember there's a Zelda
Yeah.
game. I can't remember. I don't think it was like Majora's Mask or it might have been like even Twilight Princess. But I remember looking at like a manual going like, oh my gosh, like, all right, I'm stuck in the sand temple. What do I do?
Yeah,
You know,
or the
and
water temple from Ocarina. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
that one.
that stupid slingshot you have to turn around.
Yes.
Oh, golly.
You better save before that one too.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you use the key at the wrong door, you're
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
I
was-
remember that.
Yeah.
They
You're
messed
done.
that up. That
I
was
did.
actually
Yeah.
messed up. Like if you did the
You could
keys
soft
out of
lock
orders.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the deadlock. And there's no way to go back unless you went to back to another save. But I don't even think, did it do categorical saves at that time? Or
I
was
think
it only one?
Most games you had like 3 save slots or something like that.
Okay, so there
I
was
think Ocarina
extra.
had a
Oh.
few. Yeah.
I remember that. Oh, that would be such a killer.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pokemon was big with that too, though, and they still to this one save slot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, I don't know. Does that do anything? I mean,
Well, you can't. It's harder to save scum.
yeah, but that's
I
half
get.
the fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I think the big thing growing up was you couldn't do multiple. You couldn't do simultaneous playthroughs.
Yeah.
If you
yeah.
wanted to restart, you had to overwrite your save, which was a big.
Which was tough.
Yeah. I think with the newer ones, that might be different. Maybe.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, we could never share our games.
No.
Because of that.
Yep.
We had to have different Game Boys, and the different Game Boys with the other cartridge would
Yep.
do it.
And I don't think that was nefarious because you could say it's like, oh, that's like
I think
they're
they only
smart,
had,
but it's like literally a memory limitation
yeah,
thing.
they had like 16 registers.
Yeah.
Just be happy you get graphics. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, they were pretty small, you know.
yeah, but
Yeah.
oh, the classic just
Oh yeah,
blowing
blow,
on them. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
didn't work. Yeah, give
yeah.
her a-
Did put her in
So my first game system I remember playing, I didn't own it, but my cousin in Canada was shout out to Mike, cousin Mike. He was he's probably 10 years older than me, if not more. So he had a original NES. Not Super Nintendo, the
gee.
Nintendo Entertainment System, where you had to you lifted up the lid and you had to slide the cartridge in and then close the lid.
Yeah. And you literally had, I think it was like 4 buttons because there's an A and a B
Yep.
and a directional pad, right?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, you had a start button too. I think you
Yeah, start and then
Select,
select.
yeah.
Wow.
Which never did anything on any game ever.
No.
It was just there.
It was just there. And I think you had triggers. You had triggers for some reason that no
Really?
games used. You had an R and an L.
Okay, I
On-
don't
on
even
the
remember.
NES,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it was the original Super Mario Brothers and Kirby. There was a Kirby game I remember playing a lot.
Classic. Yeah.
So what was your guys' first system
That we owned or that we played?
that you played? Yeah.
Okay,
That you
so-
remember playing? Yeah.
Super deep cut. So we come from a very big family.
Oh,
And
I've heard.
yeah. So my dad's child, well, our parents or our dads were a child 13. So whenever we'd go to cousins or grandparents, there's always all these cousins. So I don't even know if I remember on the sticks, but I remember very vividly going into Grandpa's basement and watching Joe or someone else play. No, it wasn't Atari at that level. No, it was an N64, and we were playing. It was Aunt Beth's N64, and they were playing Ocarina of Time.
Oh.
That was like, I will never forget. Like, and that's
What a
games
first
my,
impression.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
right?
And that's where, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I love sitting down and watching people play games. You know what I mean? Like, not like Twitch. That's a little too much for me. But I'm talking like you're going to your friend's house. You're about to pregame for the bars and do whatever, and you're like literally sitting there, and they're playing like Skyrim or something, and you're
a
sitting there
one-player
just
game.
like. And I'm like, I will literally like, we don't even need to go to the bars right now. I'll pick up another 12-pack. Let's just rip this all night. Like, there's something about
I
like
feel
watching it.
So part of
good.
me feels like, so I had a very similar thing. I had a friend growing up in grade school, probably from like 8 to 12 or 13. We would hang out and play video games, but a lot of the time he would just be playing a single player game. He was older than me, right? So he'd be on the sticks, and I would just be watching. And a vivid memory I have is on the PlayStation 2. He would play Final Fantasy X, which to this day is still one of my favorite games ever.
That's awesome.
But it's a very story-driven game. Just the lore and the ambiance and the storytelling is amazing. So you can just sit there and the crazy thing is it's a turn-based JRPG. So like the battles are very slow and long, but it was still entertaining to just like watch.
Because you're sitting there, you're like taking it in.
And I
don't
remember
know.
his mom would come in and be like, why don't you ever let Ben play? And it's like, no, this
Get
is
out of
his
here,
play.
Mrs. G.
This is his playthrough. I could never.
Gosh, yeah. I don't know.
But games were like, I don't know. Part of me, it's definitely nostalgia, but part of me is
yeah.
like, games were different back then, man.
They really
sure
were. And
So I had.
Yeah, what was your first
N64 too.
game? Sorry,
it was
yeah.
N64 was our.
Yeah.
I mean, Grandma and Grandpa had one, but so did we.
you had one too.
So big Legend of Zelda family. Me and my siblings. We had Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. We had all the Game Boy games. Played a lot of Star Fox too.
Oh,
that was
yes.
really good.
Peppy or
Star
there's the
Fox
frog?
64.
No, Pepe's the rabbit who flew with his dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
who's the frog?
Slippy.
Slippy the Toad.
Slippy, yeah.
And
Oh, he's a
Falco.
toad,
And
yeah.
then Falco.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Do a barrel roll.
Slippy was the most annoying character.
Oh, I'm gonna clip
but
that, by the way.
she gave you the health of the boss of the level.
Yeah.
So she was very important to keep alive.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, you can shoot your teammates if you
Yeah.
want to.
Friendly fire, yeah.
There was a couple times where if it was an easy boss, I would just eliminate her because she would just.
drive you up a wall. It's kind of like Navi with a listen.
Yes.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh
Yes.
my,
Or
Navi,
the
I
owl,
get it.
The owl too.
Oh, that's good. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So, I mean, that brings up another important thing: Super Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, big time.
Were we into that? Were we
Big time.
So mains, who's the main?
So the other thing is, I was always a little bit behind Mark. So we always went to Mark's house.
Master Hand.
My parents, it wasn't like they were like against video games necessarily.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like, hey, we'd rather you go outside and have fun,
Touch
which makes
grass.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like, God, Mom, you don't even know. But now that I'm thinking back to it, so a lot of our games came from we'd go to Mark's house and we'd play video games and everything. So the only
So
time
Mark
I ever
had the cool house.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Aunt Amy and Uncle Jim. But so the cool thing is the fact that the first time I played Smash Bros was with the N64. Hyrule Temple was sick. And the little like tornado that'd go around.
Yeah.
Link was my boy for that one.
Oh yeah.
When it came into Super Smash for the GameCube, we actually owned the GameCube system, so we were able to play Super Smash more. I had two mains. I was young Link with the blue, the temple, water temple cloaks, and then I was a big Marth guy. You can tell the swordsman blue. That's all it needed for me, and those were my two big two.
But Marth came in Melee, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't in
yes.
64.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry. Melee is the GameCube version.
GameCube,
Yeah.
Which is how I remember your house. You always had the GameCube.
Oh yeah, we had GameCube.
GameCube was big.
It was so
Big
big.
games
dude.
on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my two main. What about you guys? What was your main?
So I had Samus. I was 100% Samus.
Oh, okay.
Not for like
Yeah,
the uwu
yeah,
reason.
yeah, I
Just
mean-
the charge shot, man.
Yeah.
The charge cannon.
You might have to answer to Amanda after this one, but you know.
No, this was N64, so there was no Zero Suit Samus. It was full armor.
Oh, I thought you were talking
I don't
about
think I
GameCube.
even. No, I don't even think I knew that Samus was a woman.
I didn't.
Yeah.
When I played on
No.
N64,
It wasn't
I had no
until
idea.
it
Yeah,
was not until
Samus was a guy.
GameCube,
Yeah.
and there was Zero Suit Samus, and I was
Yeah.
like,
That's a
"What's
girl?
going on?"
Yeah.
It was that Ayla Sakura and the fairy coming out of the Zelda. Yeah, it's like what? Those are the only
great
times where
fairy,
I'm like, Mom, please do not go there.
Right.
Something's happening. I don't know. But
I was big Samus, and then in Melee when the Pokemon.
she was strong though.
She was.
I'll give you that. Her
And then-
charge gun was so good.
Yeah. Well, and then Fox, because Fox was so he was so fast.
Yeah.
He was a cheap character.
Is that for Melee too?
Fox has been in all of them.
I know, but I'm saying, did you ever play him in Melee too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I feel like he was OP in Melee too.
Yeah.
I feel like he was more. I don't know. His side B was so solid. The
Yeah.
dash.
Yep.
Yeah, he is
So
good.
sick.
And the Firefox move. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I started as DK until I unlocked Captain Falcon.
Ooh.
Falcon Punch!
Falcon punch.
Yeah.
Show me your move.
Yeah.
I freaking love that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So many hours. Like, man.
That was perfect, by the way, Ben. I'm gonna when I'm editing, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh. I might
Dude,
put
that's
a
imprinted.
Yeah.
Like the celebrations and the catchphrases.
Link drinking the milk.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember who Paul was. I know Joe was Ness, my older brother Joe.
Josh was Kirby.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Do you remember who Paul used to play as?
PK Thunder.
BK Frost. Dude, Ness. Dude, by the way, can we just talk about if you were playing Super Smash and someone started playing Ness, you're like, they're about to just destroy me. A Ness main was unreal.
Super
and
hard
they
to
could do
play.
Up B, that whole like little
The lightning thing?
lightning bolt on the butt. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I was like, some of my friends were that. I was like, I am.
And I had
crapping
no
bricks
idea
right
who
now.
that was because I never played the Mother games ever.
Yeah,
Still to this
no.
day,
Yeah,
I
still
haven't.
have it. Yeah.
And that, and like Lucas was also a part of that too. He's like a Ness equivalent. He's like
Yeah,
newer, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that either. I
That was
like,
in the original Smash Bros. That I think that was the only character. I was like,
Oh, Mr. Game and Watch too. Where'd the heck did that come
He
from?
wasn't in 64, but
he was Melee.
He was
Yeah.
Melee, but sorry, you're talking about
yeah, I was the original roster,
sorry. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The OGs. Ness was like this weird addition, like, and I don't think that game was that popular in the U.S.
Yeah.
But Smash was also a Japanese game, so I think he was popular. over
Yeah.
It just came over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Oh, and just the tournaments you would have with Smash.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'd have the whole crew there. You'd
Yeah.
just be going 1v1.
Amount of like controllers and in trouble we got from
Yes.
our parents.
That-
Being like,
that-
why are you guys so angry? I'm
Yeah.
like, just
That and Mario Kart. Both of those were
Double Dash. Oh,
Yeah.
So I saw this. It was on Instagram. It was real, and the account is like that '90s kid or something like that.
Yeah.
And his video was he gets like woken up from this like nap, and it's like his friend. He's like, dude, you're up next. You're up for Smash, and it's just like he had a dream that he grew up, but then he like.
is your
Went back
you're
to-
going
he was
back.
still a child.
Still a child, and there's like,
Oh.
he had, pop and pizza, and him and his buddies are,
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
Smash on a
CR
Friday night,
Mist.
Oh.
Oh,
Man.
talk about the good old days.
Dude,
before,
yeah.
Before we
And-
had bills and, work. And,
Yeah.
and Amy.
Magical.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, and Amy, seriously, they would always have Sprite or Sear Mist, like the lemon lime soda.
Yeah.
We would get those party pizzas, like Totino's party
CC's
pizzas,
the
Totino's,
frozen ones.
yeah. And it was just like, oh, dude, no matter how much work we had to do the next day to help out Uncle Jim, it was so worth
Yeah,
it.
the
It
pizza
was
rolls.
so worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. But I will say, with that being said, a really big emulator that sold for a lot of copies was actually in VR. So what you do is you put your decade that you want, and you can organize your room. So when you put on the VR goggles, it literally shows the game system in front of you, the TV with a 3 audio, media or whatever, the third input. I don't even
The
remember what
white,
that was.
red, and yellow.
Yeah, right, red and
plugs,
yellow.
Yeah.
And then it shows like the walls, and you can like do like like pop cans and stuff, all from period accurate. And like people are literally like, I love this, but I will never leave this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would always, because
This
then
is
you
peak
emulate
life.
all the rest of the games, because it was like you could play Ocarina of Time. So it was the emulator of Ocarina of Time, but it was like on a screen, but you could turn your head and see the whole room, and it was super cool.
That is pretty cool.
I like legitimately would.
That's dangerous.
I did not buy that for the whole reason of like, It's a little dangerous,
You
but
take the goggles off and it's Monday morning. Oh no.
Although I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how well I would deal with the Shadow Temple boss right there in front of me. You know,
Yeah.
luckily
life
it's,
size. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still on the screen. So like
like
your
your-
TV,
you see
a
you're
TV.
looking at
Oh,
it.
okay.
So it's your whole room. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not like you're in the game. That's what made like everyone
Yeah.
was like pumped about because they said you're making an emulator for VR. Like that's gotta be so boring. They're like, all right, hold my CR.
Let me
you know what I
cook.
mean?
Yeah.
yeah. It's super exciting, and going back to this, that's one thing I'm super excited about this fatherhood stuff because it's like, dude,
Oh.
like it's important to touch grass, but all at the same time too, like son comes by and he's like, "Hey, what's this like Ocarina of Time?" I'm like, "Oh, all right." Your mom's ordering pizza. we have a pack of we have a pack of CR Mists in coming or Sprite coming in hot. We're gonna rock this whole weekend.
Well, it's like that scene from Malcolm in the Middle. The dad's like, once you go down this path, there's no going back.
Yeah, there's no going back. This
The
is
lights
going
go
to
down.
define you forever.
I just want the one day where that or like D&D. It's like, what's D&D? Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, all right.
I hear they're on 7th edition now. No.
Here's the thing: we're a fifth family. All right, we're a 5e exclusive.
man.
No, but that's like it's super exciting, and all this nostalgia is like hitting me so hard. And then when we were talking about Pokemon, I never imagined we'd talk about all this nostalgia because
it
like,
brings up so much.
oh my gosh, yeah, thinking about all this, like the only sports game I really liked on the GameCube is. Did you guys ever play MLB Slugfest?
The show.
2003.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
That
with
was
you.
when you did. That was when we did the whole like you did the up BB, and
Yep.
then like
The
people would have
cheats.
like the fire hair and like you had the jumbo bats, which
Yeah.
was like
You could
tree
punch
logs.
him with the ball.
Yeah. Oh. It was the only sports game I liked. Everything else, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this sucks. I'm just gonna throw Hail Marys and Madden.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else, but
Well, that makes me think of the computer game, the baseball, like backyard baseball.
Backyard base, Pablo
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Oh, he was the best.
Yes.
Pablo.
yeah. Someone at work, we can do icons for our desk cubicles. And I have Chief O'Brien from Star Trek. I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, this is sick. But he did Pablo Sanchez, and I walked by, I was like, oh. He's like, did you hear they're coming out with the new backyard baseball? I was like, what? Like, what? Apparently they are.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't realize. I don't know if it's like a remake or an
I haven't
extra.
heard of that.
Dude, Pablo Sanchez was so
Yes.
good, dude. I love Pablo Sanchez. He was so solid. Josh and I played a lot of that.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like we had a good run in our family too.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you guys ever do the Wii? Like we did a lot of Wii Sports and Wii Bowling and all that other one. It was kind of short lived because we didn't get the Xbox. We got a Wii because Elena wanted the Wii, and we were kind of shooting for Xbox.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, "We're only gonna do one system," and then
The
Got
Wii,
the Wii.
definitely the family-friendly system for sure.
yeah, that's what I think sold it. But we were just like Josh and I were in the background, like,
We don't want to play Halo.
But then it was good. Then my mom didn't want to buy M-rated games, so we were like, "How do
Oh,
we
yeah.
sneak this?" Yeah, so
Yeah.
So I remember the reason. So when I bought my PlayStation 1, so that original NES was gifted to us by that cousin when he went off to college.
oh, dude, what
So
a
then-
cool cousin.
Yeah.
You're not going to bring that to
gosh.
college.
And I remember
Oh,
he
dude,
gave it
Mike,
to
you're
us.
a real
Yeah,
one.
props to Mike.
Yeah,
You're a real one.
Mike, you're the best, man. He, you should come to Christmas this year. He gave it just this big plastic bag. I remember this vividly. This big clear plastic bag that like zipped at the top, and just had the system in it and like 15 games.
Oh,
Just
and
had
as a
so
kid,
many games.
that's the holy
Oh,
grail,
dude, it was
That's
amazing.
the holy grail.
And one of them was Mortal Kombat 1. The
Ooh.
original Mortal Kombat. And I was like,
Did your parents look at the game?
no.
Oh, that's even better.
And I was like 9.
Oh,
Oh, man.
even better.
Yeah.
Did anyone
That
see
was
the movie
rad.
on Mortal Kombat? I never did. I heard it was
I
not
did.
good.
I saw the
Ben's
new
a
one.
Mortal Kombat man. So
I am a
yeah.
big Mortal Kombat guy because of that
I was about to say
vivid
because of that,
connection.
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a letdown. They
They had so much source material though.
so
How
much
could you
source
miss
material.
that?
I think they did a really cool thing with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, right? Because those are two mainstay characters, right?
Sub-Zero
They're
is my
rivals. They have a lot of backstory. They started real strong with the backstory of Scorpion, how he dies, but he was tricked by this sorcerer Quan Chi, and this whole thing, really cool. But then they jumped forward in time, and then so that was like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then they based the rest of the movie off of an origin character a new character that nobody cares about.
Oh,
It
were they
was-
trying to like promote the new game? with
No,
this
he's
new
not in
character?
any game ever. He's a movie character,
Oh my
He's just some
That's
random dude.
disappointing. Yeah.
It was so disappointing. Like
What's wrong with
Johnny
these
Cage is
executives?
right there.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like, but that's the thing. I just will never get this new, since we're, talking about nostalgia and everything, but like, I don't get this whole new quest to revive all these games and movies,
Yeah.
and they mess it up. It's like,
Yeah.
guys, you have nothing but source material here. How could you possibly mess this up? Like,
Yeah.
Borderlands 2 was a flop. It's like, dude, that was like one of the highest grossing, at the time games. I mean, it was unreal. So how could you mess that up with all the source material? And then somehow Jack Black's a part of all of them?
Yeah.
Like the Super Mario
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
the Borderlands 2, or
And that's-
Borderlands movie, and then now he's in Minecraft. So it's like, what's going on here? I don't
And
get
that's
it.
kind of why you can't blame Bethesda, because it's like, just keep releasing Skyrim.
Yeah, honestly.
That's you're
Elder
never
Scrolls,
you're
yeah.
never gonna do better. Just keep
Skyrim was
releasing
so
it on
good.
every
Yeah.
system.
God.
I bought Skyrim 4 times, no joke.
Yeah, I'm on 3 right now.
Yeah.
It's a good,
I was about
it's
to buy
a solid
5.
game.
Yeah.
Dude, I was about to buy from the Steam Deck. I just got a Steam
Oh,
Deck.
yeah?
But I was like, okay, Tony, you cannot buy Skyrim. I refuse to let you buy Skyrim,
Try new things.
but
No.
Oblivion was on sale.
What's the opening line in Skyrim? You wake up and you see the guy,
Oh, yeah.
What does he say?
You're finally awake.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Olaf,
yeah,
yeah.
That is that Ulrich?
Rayloff. That's Rayloff.
Rayloff? Oh, Ulfric Stormcloak
Ulfric is there, but
the,
he's gagged. Yeah.
You're finally awake. Yeah. I think that's what he says.
Mm-hmm. So I remember, that same guy I was talking about before that I would watch him play Final Fantasy, he got Oblivion.
Really?
And I remember I watched a little bit of it, and then that's like when we kind of stopped, because you stop hanging out with every friend eventually. So I never watched.
Ben, we'll always hang out. Don't worry.
I never.
Golly.
Yeah,
No,
thank you. But in childhood,
yeah,
there's
no, I'm
always
joking, I'm
the
joking,
point
yeah.
of separation.
Yeah. Adult friends versus they're different. But
So I never ended up finishing watching him play Oblivion, and then Skyrim came out, and for the first I remember my interaction to Skyrim was I was in high school, and I was a senior in high school, and I was going over to my buddy's house. He was a junior, and his little brother was playing Skyrim. So I was like, what a nerd. I'm not
Yeah.
going to play this fantasy. And we were playing Madden. Like, I was going to his house to play Madden.
Oh,
And
Ben
'cause
was
we were-
also a jock.
Yeah, so we're-
He played collision football, so he was
So we were on the football team, and then we were going to play like Madden and be super competitive.
Classic, yeah.
And then he was playing Skyrim, and I was like, "Oh, that's a little stupid little kid,
Little baby
nerd
game.
game."
Yeah.
But it was the part where he was finishing the companion's quest, and he turned into a werewolf. And in the back of my mind, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of rad."
yeah.
Because they shared a PlayStation, so like every time we came over, we had to wait till his brother was finished with his quest, and then we could play Madden. So we would watch him play Skyrim for
so
like
you're watching him.
for like 10 minutes, and then we could play Madden. And everybody else was like, getting snacks or like talking about girls or whatever. But I was like secretly watching him play Skyrim.
Wait, so you're telling me? So you can be a vampire, but cure it with the companion quest line.
with being a werewolf?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the werewolf causes you never
They
to have any
counteract
poison.
each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that kind of set a seed. And then I remember buying Skyrim on the PS3 like 3 years later, something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It took three years.
Yeah.
So
Because
that planted
then I
the
went
seed.
off to college and then didn't have
gotcha.
time really for games. And then
My Skyrim was just we super late to the game. It was released for like 3 or 4 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I was super pumped because I had my driver's license. So I drove out and I saved enough money for the game. And it was in wintertime. I can't remember what was going on. But the whole point was it was wintertime. And I saved up enough. Drove to Target. And this is just life advice for everybody. I went to go buy the game, but I bought it in the game section. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Like the video or whatever you want to call it, technology section. Worst move you can do.
oh, because there's a separate register back there.
There's separate
You're saying,
registers back
yeah.
there. Worst thing you can do. Because I promise you, if you go to the front and you're looking for an M-rated game and you're 16 and driving a car but can't buy an M-rated game,
They don't care.
you go to the front. They don't even blink an eye. I
Yeah.
promise you. You can't go to self-checkout though. Because self-checkout, you'll have to wait for somebody. They probably won't care, but it's just an extra thing. But I should have known that because
Skyrim was M-rated?
M-rated.
Really?
I guess
I didn't-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. So I drove all the way there, trying to buy Skyrim. I bought it. I tried to buy it in the bed thing, and the guy looked at me. He's like, how old are you?" And I was like, "What? In my mind,
dog.
yeah, well, in my mind, I was.
Old
I
enough to
didn't even
get
know.
here,
Yeah, literally, I even said I was like, I drove here. Like, why are you asking me? You know what I mean? He's like, this is M-rated game. I was like, oh. And then I try to pull like, oh yeah, my mom's in the store and everything like that, but I'll take the game and I'll just show it to her. He goes, no, I'm holding on to this, and I was like, come on, dude, what are you doing?
Come on, man.
Yeah. So then I had to do the call of shame and be like, hey mom, can you like go to Target after work? And she's like, really? And I'm like, mom, please, this is worth it.
Yeah.
Just so happened that when she came back, that was a really bad storm. I don't know if you remember this. You were still in our high school too. We were both in high school. I think it was our sophomore year or something, or your junior year. The whole point is that we had that 2-week period of snow delays.
Oh, yep.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It was like so snowy the first week, so we got all the week off, and then the next week it was so cold, the wind chill, like they weren't allowing people to go to school.
Wow.
So we had 2 weeks, and I got in Skyrim the day before all that happened.
Oh.
Like,
Lucky.
I literally I was like, Mom, you have no idea. Like, this little thing you just did.
Gosh.
Unlocked 2 weeks.
And
I
it's
will
like,
never forget
it's
that.
a Nordic environment, so like you're feeling the cold.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
oh.
I was in solitude going,
Yes.
dang, that's
Yeah.
solitude outside now, But that was like my Skyrim story. I will always say, I was like, but also, kids, I'm not telling you to circumvent the law, but don't find the freaking narc back there.
come
You know
on.
what I mean?
Yeah.
The one guy who's going to care is in the video section.
Yeah.
Get that stuff and get the heck out of there.
Right.
But now, it's crazy? People don't even buy games people don't buy physical games anymore.
Yeah.
No, because you can just download them.
Yeah, that's
So how does
crazy
that
to
work
think
with the
about.
M-rated games? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you just prove your birthday, but you can just say anything. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess when you start up your console now, you like make a profile and it's like it asks you your age.
Yeah.
So you could just like be a good kid and say that you're,
Yeah.
you're 15 or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, my brother plays on this
Right,
Xbox,
yeah,
and he's. But so, Mark, do you have your Skyrim story? Or?
Yeah, so we were introduced. My older brother played it first, and we played Oblivion first. But we didn't have it for a while. But so my brother's friend in high school forgot his lunch every day, or just didn't bring a lunch, and so my brother Joe had bought his lunch almost every day. So at the end of the school year, he bought him a brand new copy of Oblivion, and that was his thank you.
You mean Skyrim or Oblivion?
Oblivion.
Oh, you still got 2 Oblivions?
No, the Oblivion we had
Oh,
came
was from him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know
Wow.
that. Wow.
So Joe played through that, and me and Paul watched him. And then when Skyrim came out, it was like, yep. all right,
no-brainer.
We're getting this.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And so our core memories with that is so Joe won the grand champion, and then you get that little follower.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's an Oblivion though. Yeah.
Yeah. By Azura, it's the grand champion.
Yeah.
So Joe became a vampire, and then just put that guy in his vampire lair, and just kept him.
Yeah.
And
that's full Sims level.
Yeah.
Then one day he's just like, you know what? And he saved his profile, but then killed the guy, and then just put on his clothes and ran around going, by Azura.
All right, so big question. So we've all played Skyrim. We've played through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So no shame here. First time you met Parthenax, what did you do?
Oh, saved him. Easy.
Did you? Okay.
Easy. Is it better be born good or to strive through evil through great effort?
Yeah.
I love Parthenax. I don't think I think I messed up that quote, but you get the gist. I love Parthenax.
You got the gist of it,
Yeah.
I always go evil the first time I play through a game.
You killed him?
Yeah.
You killed
You went the
Parthenax,
blades? The blades gave no.
He's
they
a
go
dragon,
back, bro.
Tony. They're the main enemy of the game.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
He's a dragon.
Bro. You guys are wrong.
You don't know that he's not in leagues with Alduin?
Yeah.
Are you telling me right now you guys went with the blades quest full on and you're like, yeah, this is rad.
So the bigger part of it was that they were playing him up like he's the master of
Yeah.
the whatever
Master
that
of the blades, yeah.
the temple was called.
Oh, well, it's on High Hrothgar.
The
but
the
yeah.
Greybeards.
Or
He
no,
was
not
the,
High Hrothgar.
Yeah, High Hrothgar, and he was
Was
the
that right?
master of the
Okay.
Greybeards. And you think the whole time that it's a dude up there, screaming and yelling, causing the storm.
Correct.
And then you go up and it's a dragon, and you're
Yeah.
like, dragons are evil.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I don't know. This is my cradle Catholic coming through, but here's the thing. Here's this Blades, this militant group. Ugh. Here's the Greybeards, this religious organization. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And you saw their cloaks, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say, I went hard in the paint for the reason why I believe in the dragons. I wanted the cloak so bad. The fact that I still think it's a travesty. You cannot get their cloaks.
Nope.
Even when you kill them.
You think
I
you
even
could steal
played
it from him, yeah.
Even when you can't do it. And that is what killed me. I was like, oh.
They knew-
I still believe in Parthamax, though. I love them.
They knew it was so cool. They're like, we're not gonna let anybody have them.
Oh, I would have taken any hit. Like even if it was like it's like the classic the Nightingale armor is so sick.
Oh,
but then it does like illusion for the headpiece. You're
Yeah.
like, ugh. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I still wear it because it's sick.
It's
you know,
cool, yeah.
so.
I think the first time I saved Parthenax because of that quote. When
Oh,
he says
yeah.
the whole, is it better to be born
Born
good,
good.
or to overcome your evil through great effort?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
also,
was and he's so chill.
he is pretty chill. That's what got me. Like, he was chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was scared, though. I remember. I was like, this guy's a dragon. Like, I feel like this is a bad move.
But he gives you the power right away because he asks you what he wants you strengthened because he gives you the second word of power on one of the elementals. I chose fire, of course. It's sick. But I remember right after you gave me that, I was like, oh, he's cool. He's chill.
Yeah.
What'd you do with the second playthrough? You killed him?
Well, you got to try both.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'll be honest, in all my Skyrim playthroughs, I have never killed him.
You can't bring yourself to do
Can't
it.
bring himself.
Yeah.
I love him too much.
Yeah.
Everything else, no problem.
So my one of my favorite fun facts is so the voice actor of Parthenax is the voice actor of Mario.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say that. I was
Wow.
Isn't that
literally...
wild?
Charles Martinet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
know that. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's Parthenax.
Great evil. Yeah. I was about to say, because I think they're the same, but they modulated his voice and
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
decreased it. But my big thing was, if you had to choose one or the other, Thieves Guild or Dark Brotherhood.
Dark Brotherhood. I like assassinating.
I think the Dark
Astrid was
the Dark Brotherhood is cooler, but the Thieves Guild story was pretty rad.
It was.
The whole collusion and the
Yeah.
that was really cool.
I will say that was that's why I was so upset with Starfield. You ever played?
No, I have not because of you.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Well, you don't have to. But Rejuin, or whatever they call it. It's literally Thieves Guild, and I swear they didn't change a thing.
Really?
They even have the same voice actors. Because it's like Bethesda. They wanted we got the same voice actors. It was honestly beat for beat almost the same exact story.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We have some high-ranking person, hey, you should do this, and blah, blah, blah. Turns out they're the backstabbers, and by spoiler, sorry. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it killed me. But no, the Thieves Guild questline was more rich. I just really liked... the Nightingale armor is what sold me. Mm-hmm. By the way, the Nightingale armor, but you could still get the Master Lock. What's that called? The
skeleton key.
Skeleton key.
Yeah.
That was...
Yeah.
That's how you knew. You're like, I'm not going to finish this quest line. I'm just going to take the key.
Just gonna keep this? Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because talk about buzzkill mini games.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, I messed that up. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. I messed that up. The
Nightingale
Nightingales
is Thieves
was
Guild.
from Thieves
Yeah.
Guild. Oh, I'm sorry. The
Dark Brotherhood armor.
The Dark Brotherhood armor was sick. I said Nightingales there. I meant the other one. Right when I said it, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, you get the Nightingales from giving the
We
skeleton
can edit
keys.
that out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
I was
totally.
not
You
right.
nailed that. You said it all right.
Thanks. See, by the way, we didn't tell you Ben's a veteran podcaster. You know, we're just here in the loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they definitely had that. So, but yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say? I messed you up.
Oh, I don't remember anymore. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I just their story was rich. I liked it.
Yeah.
I also liked the whole Dunmer learning more about the snow elves and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and the dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dwemer. Yeah.
Dwemer, yeah.
I like the
Oh,
dwarves.
Dunmer. Sorry, that's Oblivion, but that's
Yeah.
a dark elf. I think it's Dunmer.
I'm partial to the dwarves in really every universe. Like I like Gimli in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
They just came out with have you guys seen that that new game that just came out? It's like Return to Moria or something like that.
Oh,
it's like a survival crafting
Yeah, I
dwarf
saw
game.
They also have that, and they had like a Stardew-esque version of the Shire.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah, I can't remember what either of them are called.
And
Something of the
it's
Shire.
also Lord of the Rings branded. Huh.
Yeah, both of them are.
Wow.
I'd be curious about the survival one though. The Moria.
It looks
one.
pretty rad. I haven't read a lot into it, but
Yeah.
We had, I think it was called like Battle for Middle Earth or something like that for the Xbox.
Oh,
Pretty much, it
yeah.
was like Age of Empires, but Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so cool. Yeah,
I remember that one.
Lord
I
of the
never
Rings
played
had
it.
Such good games, dude.
Yeah.
We played that one Lord of the Rings game where you could be Lurtz and you could be the different characters.
Oh, that's like Conquest, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Conquest,
yeah, Lord of the Rings Conquest or something.
It's
All
like
the heroes.
Battlefield,
Yeah.
or Battlefront, but for
Yeah,
Lord
yeah,
of the Rings.
correct.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exactly like
And
Battlefront.
it was so
Oh,
fun.
so
I think it was the
cool.
same studio. I
think
think
it
it
was.
was.
Yeah.
It
Pandemic
might have
Studio.
been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Dang, dude, that was such a good game.
That was a good
because then we would all because you do 4 screen, So then it would be to the point where like all the other army, like the AIs are attacking each other. Who cares? But we would do like we'd go on like I can't remember what map it was.
The throne room?
Yeah, it was the throne room.
Minas Morgul.
Was it Minas Morgul?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we play King of the Throne. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the thing why that got so good was because you could be you could put on the ring and be Frodo and be invisible.
Yeah.
So, but the reason why like so many arguments got out of that is because you're playing split screen. Which, by the way,
You can screen peek.
You can screen. Yeah, I know.
Dude,
Yeah.
The lowest level of society.
it's so sad that a generation will never understand screen
No,
peeking.
oh, man.
Oh, by the way, that's one thing that riles me up more than anything. Is games literally like I try to play a game with Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
It is impossible to find other than Switch games. It's impossible to find games that you can actually play a good solid local multi-screen or split screen. It's insane. They don't make them anymore.
It's to
like
the
that.
point where like a couple come out and they're like monumental because they allow that, and it's like, wait, every game used to be like this.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
the norm.
But they just cater to online gaming. You know.
Yeah, so that's what killed me. But yeah, that was because Frodo, you put on the ring, and everyone's like running around, and I was like, "How'd you know it?" Because like you kill them, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Well, like, "Oh, I saw your, I saw the pixel," and it's like, "Oh."
Well, the game time I think was like capture the flag, but the flag was the ring.
Yeah.
So if you killed the ring bearer, you got the ring, and then you could become invisible.
And you could just like hide forever.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it was a lot of fun.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was that and like playing Kashi, capture the flag, Battlefront, trying to get we were trying to get like Gunslinger and Francie, and that was a lot.
That was the grind. Yeah,
that was the grind.
The split screen games, man. You're right. That's whole because the same thing with like Mario Kart, Mario Party.
Yeah.
Like all of the local.
It's literally only
Split-screen
Switch. Nintendo is the only one who like upkeeps that.
Yeah,
and they do a pretty darn good job. The fact that you can play eight controllers, it's crazy. But it's wildly frustrating that that's not.
Well,
like,
one of the things that annoyed me with Baldur's Gate when it first came out. So I tried to start a campaign with my wife when it first came out, right? Because you can play multiplayer, you can play local, but it did this thing where like, so when we were playing multiplayer online, like you could go into a different map and be like in another place, and that would be fine.
Yeah.
Right. And I would be somewhere else, and then we could just whatever. If you're playing local co-op, you can't leave the same screen. So like as you start walking apart, like the screen gets wider and wider and zooms out, and then it maxes out.
Yeah.
And like we're just walking against each other on opposite edges of the screen, and you're stuck.
Oh no! Yeah.
And it's like, this is horrible.
It
so
probably can't do that much processing.
So they just released an update a year after the game came out that now allows for dynamic split screen, where we're like, once you get far enough away, the screen will split down the middle, and then you now just have your own separate screen.
Kind
It's
of
so
like the
funny.
Lego games.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Well, 'cause
Yeah, good
sometimes
call, yeah.
Mark and I, when they were doing wine night, Jenna and all these girls would do wine night, we would play and we'd be like Lego Lord of the Rings.
Oh, the Lego games are
Lego Harry Potter too.
iconic.
But but it's so funny that it's like this problem we solved 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But
problem
is
now.
now
Yeah.
cropping back up because we're focusing on all the other things.
Yeah.
Where, like, literally, it's probably a bandwidth. It's literally probably a processing bandwidth where they're like, we can only do so much. You know what I mean? And if you're you're interacting on this side, we're acting on this side. We have so many shaders, which, oh, by the way, every single game now is 100 gigs. Like, we put Man on the Moon for less. It's like crazy to think about.
Or it's even like an afterthought. They're just not even thinking, why would anybody do that? Oh yeah, people still sit on a couch and play games together.
games. Yeah. How is this?
Why
new?
would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, they all just want to be behind a screen and pwn the noobs and talk about their mothers and
Talk over a microphone. Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, there's something about that, but
it has its place.
It does.
yeah.
No,
But it can't be the only option.
Yeah.
No, but it's nice to have that.
I definitely fell into the Call of Duty trap over the pandemic.
You're a Modern Warfare
when
guy,
Warzone
right?
came out.
Or Warzone, sorry. Yeah.
By talk about lightning in a bottle. The fact that Warzone came out right when COVID happened. Part of me thinks
It's an
that
job. Ben, I like where you're going.
They benefited so much.
I cannot. Like, that was also, like, Battle Royale games were already there, but that was, like, a Call of Duty one.
Yes.
And everyone's like, Call of Duty's coming out with their Fortnite, what's going to happen? And literally during the pandemic, and
We're
they had
all stuck in the
proximity
house.
chat.
Yes.
That was, like, half of it. You know what I mean?
And
Because it was the only Battle Royale that had proximity chat.
And then when that comes out, we just so happen to all be stuck in the house for like 6 months. And
Oh, yeah.
What more do people need? You need the new Call of Duty and a Netflix show about a tiger zoo.
Yeah, Tiger
Tiger King. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Good pull.
Tiger King and Wine with DeWine. I remember. That was great.
We were in Florida still, so we didn't get the Ohio.
Oh, you didn't get Wine with DeWine. Yeah.
You just got to hang out with Ron DeSantis.
Did you guys watch the news every day with?
No chance.
So it was a big thing here. Like people, there would be an update at noon every day. Governor DeWine would come on and talk about whatever.
He had a different Ohio University tie on every day.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So like when it had the UD one, everyone's like,
Yeah,
or whenever
UD,
they had their own
yeah.
alma mater, he had a UT one at one point.
Really? He had Toledo Rockets. Wow.
And Wine with DeWine became a thing. Like you would get a glass of wine and you would watch.
Everyone was working from home. No one cared if you drank. I'll say his biggest move was allowing to go alcohol.
The roadies.
That was.
Oh yeah.
It's a good call.
Yes.
Yeah. I did know that you could do roadies. Like they let you.
I mean, you can't drink it, but you can get
No.
Get it to go. Yeah.
Sorry, I should specify.
Which persisted. That's still you can still do that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I
go
thought
margaritas. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
That's
Next
kinda
time you're at
nice.
Elsa's.
Yeah, let them know.
Yeah.
Oh, they have such a good buffalo chicken quesadilla.
Oh really? I've never
Oh
had
yeah,
it.
so good.
Yeah.
So Venturas, you can get. It's like a cup that's 3 margaritas in one,
That is.
but you can only get like one per $20 or something like that. Like based on the
you
amount.
had to buy the food. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Wow.
But
Good
also,
call.
dude, Ben, I'm telling you, this margarita puts you on your
Hometown
butt.
Mexican place. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
literally, they have this whole thing. I can't just divulge on the podcast. I don't know if it's, I don't know what level this
Secrets.
information's at. You know what I mean?
There's
But
a trade secret here.
Trade
Yeah.
secret,
Watch,
but
watch
distribution
it.
app.
But the
Tony.
whole point is you drink them they come in smaller glasses than this, but
One size.
one and you're like, whoa.
Wow.
2, you're like, I don't think I should drive. 3 or 4, we're having a really good time.
Yeah.
They're so good, but they're so small. So that's why Mark's like, hey, you get 3 in one. I was like, you're
Yeah. That's it.
yeah, you need that $20 of
peaked.
food.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel pretty darn good.
So it's like a safety thing. They're like, we need to make you eat.
Yes.
Help us help you.
Yeah, correct. You could have as many. You
as
just
much
need
you
more
want.
food.
Yeah.
You got $20 worth of food,
Man.
But sometimes it's good to get the proximity chats and everything like that. You know what I mean? Getting those lobbies. I will say Jenna would go out on a work trip, be there for a week, and that was the time where I would break out old Call of Duty and just
Yeah.
some 9-year-olds are about to get yelled at.
Yeah. Because you need to take your
and I
aggression
need
out.
it.
Yeah. You need the outlet. Yeah.
This is my therapy right now. I'm just gonna scream and it'll be fine.
I think the most interesting thing they ever did was I never really was into Call of Duty until Warzone came out and was
Are you
playing it with
serious?
friends.
You never
a little
grew up?
bit, but wasn't real. I was more of a sports and Nintendo gamer as a kid. So it was so interesting to where they had. So you would finish the Warzone game, right? Battle Royale, and then the winner would get that whole scene at the end where their team gets rappelled up into the helicopter.
Yeah.
And during that cutscene, it would open the mics of everybody that's still in the lobby. Because when you die, you could just leave, right, and go start another match, or you could stay and spectate. So then everybody was quiet, and then the winning team would get the last kill, and then the cutscene would start where they're going up to the helicopter, all the mics open, and oh my gosh,
Everyone just yell.
the language and the stuff that would come out.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
But that's so funny because I would love the Gulag to have that.
Oh,
Proximity
yeah.
chat, only the Gulag. You're you're chirping the people down there.
Yeah.
That'd be so much
That's a
fun.
whole other perfect time. The Gulag memes.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that was so good.
Or the memes of people coming back from the Gulag.
Yeah.
Grandpa coming back from the Gulag.
Yeah. But that's what kind of got me was I really liked that game, but I would play it so infrequently that it would be in between semesters and something. But what killed me is every single time I was like, oh my God, I have a free night. I can't wait to play this game. I turn on my Xbox. It's you have 100 gig. And I was like, oh
Update.
my goodness. And so eventually I'm like, I'm going to delete this game. I literally probably played I probably paid 20 hours maybe of it. But I probably spent twice that in waiting for it to download. I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Because it kept redoing the textures and maps and everything.
Yeah.
Did you do any COVID games, Mark?
Yeah, so, I was going to say that I was never a big first-person shooter game either. I mean, all my brothers and whenever the cousins were over, we'd be playing Call of Duty or Halo was a really big one.
Battlefront 2 was a big one. Too.
So Battlefront I liked, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was the only one
Call
I
of Duty
remember.
and Halo were, I don't know, too intense for me. I don't know.
Because Sam would make them intense.
Yeah. I liked open world games, so
Fable.
Skyrim, Oblivion. I was going to say, so during COVID, I replayed all 3 Fable games.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dude, Mark, did you hear the classic Fable story from Mark? When his mom was checking the
She
game?
listens to the podcast. We're not going to out me here, Tony.
Oh, okay. All right,
We'll tell him offline.
Okay.
We'll
We'll talk offline.
Yeah. Let's read back to this conversation. We'll talk offline. Yeah, sorry.
But,
I didn't mean to out you, but it's really funny.
So there's 3 of them. There's the first one's an original Xbox game. That's fun, right? But
Yeah.
it's
Did you play it on the original Xbox?
So no, so it was like an Xbox. I don't have original Xbox, but when it first came out, I did.
Oh.
He definitely didn't emulate it because that's illegal.
That's
Correct.
what I'm trying to say.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't condone that.
Yeah. Technically, when you buy the game, you can emulate it, but
Yeah.
you can't distribute it.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
the legal
Correct.
thing.
Yes.
And then
We're crossing T's, dotting I's here. But
yeah, and then 2 and 3 were on the 360. I like 2 the best. I mean, it was
Really?
yeah. I mean, 3's got a fun storyline. I mean, you're king and you can
Yeah.
do a lot of things. But
Was 2 the one where it became more of like an empire thing, where it's like you're maintaining the whole kingdom, or was that 3?
That's 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, 3 was awesome because you can literally buy the entire kingdom.
Right.
Yeah. But 2 is fun because it's just everything was a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to make your character fat, you just drink a bunch of beers, or if you wanted to make them skinny, just eat a bunch of apples. Like, and you could literally see, based on everything. Or
I didn't
to
realize
like,
you could do that.
or to like court a girl, like you just have to flirt a little bit. In the Fable 3, you have to go on this like quest to like win her love, and it's just so much harder.
Take her out.
Yeah,
on a date.
it's
Like real life.
Wow.
Yeah.
How tedious.
Yeah. Spend time.
yeah.
You gotta earn those pixels. Yeah.
But both of them had a Dark Brotherhood-esque type thing. Temple of Light, Temple of Darkness.
Oh, really? Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've never played a single minute, but I probably watched hours because I was watching Mark play
Yeah.
it.
I've played
never
the first Fable, but I didn't finish it, and I haven't played the 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth the play?
Yeah. It's
Aren't they coming out with a new one, or are they like remastering one of them?
I think it's remastered.
remastering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll hit the remaster. Might be a good time.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because right now I need single player games.
Mm.
Can't keep up with these. I can't keep up with
Final
these
Fantasy, man, I'm
players.
telling you.
Oh, I know those JRPGs, man.
Yeah,
They're exciting, but yeah, Ben's a huge
Yeah.
Final Fantasy guy.
Yeah.
He talks about it. I maybe like honestly, Ben, just invite me over. I'll watch you play it.
Okay,
any day.
perfect.
Any day of the week. Hey Amanda, hey Ben, what's going on?
Some of the newer ones are more, definitely more action oriented.
Oh, so it's not story driven?
They're still story driven, but so 10 was the last one. So they're just straight numbered. So they're up to 16 now. 10,
Holy what?
yeah, 10 on the PS2 was the last one that was strictly turn based in battles, and then 11 was an MMO. So I guess kind of MMO style turn based. Yeah, and then
On the PlayStation?
yeah, PlayStation 2.
Really?
Yeah. And then 12 was a single player game, but it played like an MMO. So you would like have a like spell rotation, and you would like, it was like live-esque combat, but still very clearly an MMO. Like you couldn't really dodge stuff. It was like block area based for spells and stuff.
But you're playing against computers or people?
Computers.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like an MMO, but you were playing against like the AI the entire time.
Okay. Yeah.
It was very interesting.
That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And then
Kind of one step forward, one step back.
but it was open world. Well, it was open zone. Like they had huge. It was the first one that had huge zones that you could be in, like kind of
Yeah.
World of Warcraft style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 13 went back to being more of a straight up. It was kind of like turn based, like instanced combat. They called it active time battle. So it would be turns, but your turns would be like on a clock that would like wind down. And when it was your turn on the clock, like you had to, if you didn't go, the enemy would go in front of you.
Chess clock.
So it's like if you were perfect on your timing, it was still technically turn based, but it was like fast paced.
Yeah,
Like you had to input your thing. And then 14 was also an MMO. So there's 2 Final Fantasy MMOs that are still being updated, 11 and 14.
Oh my gosh.
And then 15 was straight up action combat, and then but still open world. And then 16 is even more streamlined action combat. So they're definitely going towards being more actiony, kind of like a hack and slash style.
Oh, but there's still like a storyline in the background?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. Oh gosh.
And is it still the same story arcs?
So there.
Or like in between each? You know
So
what I mean?
every numbered Final Fantasy has a distinct story. So
Okay.
so when I say that, I mean like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then certain of them will have like sequels. Like 10 has a 10-2, which is like a sequel.
Oh, so you're going like Assassin's Creed style.
Yes.
Like there is Assassin's Creed 2, then there's Brotherhood,
Yes.
Revelation. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But some of them will take place in the same world, kind of, or they're like similar, but none of them. If you go across major releases, major numbers, they do not carry over story.
Oh, so you can just jump in. I can
you
jump in
can
at
jump
12.
into any of them.
Who knows?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a totally original story. Now they carry themes across the franchise, right? For sure.
Yeah,
Themes and styles and, magic systems and types of enemies, things like that. But they're 100% unique stories.
Yeah. See, dude, I've got the bad part of my brain that I'm a completist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I jump into a game, I'm like, there's a sequel. I got to do it. You know
But
what I mean?
so they're not sequels. You can go in any
Yeah,
order.
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah.
So you
I
should
can jump
definitely
in.
play
That's
all
kinda good.
16.
Yeah,
but
yeah. And
go in
figure out
any
which
order.
one I like. Yeah.
Well, Fable's the same way. They're all complete storybook end.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? They're not continuation?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. That's a big point for them. Because
Okay.
like right now, I say this, but I just started Mass Effect, so
Oh, Mass
gotta
Effect.
play that ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I texted your brother. I was like, Joe, did you play Mass Effect? Because now I'm like playing the game, and I'm like, why do I remember this? I've never played Mass Effect in my life. He was huge on
Joe
it,
was
and I
big.
watched Joe play it.
DeBoom
Oh,
Shepherd.
wow,
That
really?
was his character name. DeBoom Shepherd.
DeBoom. I'm Ormus with my boy.
Ormus. Nice.
Yeah, from Kingdom Death,
Yeah,
but was
Kingdom
originally
Death, yeah.
from Aragon, the book. God.
Oh, I didn't
know
know
the
that.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
He's his teacher. Yeah. Spoiler alert. But yeah, no, it's very interesting that I was playing it and I was sitting there, I was like, why do I remember that? I texted him, I was like, did you play this game? Like, did I watch you play? He's like, oh yeah, I played it all the time. I was like, okay, thank God, I'm not going crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's a game that like clearly continues on. It's the only game, it was like the first game that actually started where your choices in one of the games matters and it carries
Right.
it over. So I think Witcher is the other one that does that, like a notable game franchise
Mm-hmm.
that like your choices in one affect choices in 2 and 3.
Yep.
Dude, talking about video games, it's so exciting.
Oh,
I
It's
don't
so
know.
nostalgic, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Go
So
on forever.
nostalgic.
They
And-
define like periods of life, right?
They
Where
do.
it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, like you asked me, like, what was the first game? It's like, I remember watching Ocarina of Time, but then that got into like a lot of different ones because a lot of the cousins played it. We do a New Year's party every year, so we started speed running it. So we were doing that, and we were doing Star Wars Pod Racers for it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was
Oh,
a big
man.
speed run. So like all the cousins would get in with
Yeah.
their laptops, and we were just like speed running games and stuff like that. So
So
we got into a big like tradition.
is there a game that you have never finished for some reason that you're just like, man, I need to go back and finish that game?
Ooh, a pile of shame, a game of shame.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to think about that. Mark, do you have any?
No,
Off the
I
top
have
of
to.
your
I
head?
have to.
Oh my gosh, I know mine.
What is it?
No, it's a dumb answer, but it makes me upset. Elden Ring.
Oh,
So
yeah.
wait. I preface this. I beat Elden Ring. It's a DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally on the final boss, and I know there's going to be people in the comment. Joe, I almost said his last name. Well, I don't know if he wants his last name, but Joe out there who did the One Piece episode, him and Paul, were very encouraging for me to play it, the Elden Ring. But still to this day, I know Joe would say just get good, but I cannot beat that final boss. I have changed my character. I have done all this stuff. It is so freaking hard. I have yet to beat him. And that's the one game where like it's the biggest, it's like the monkey on my back. Like right now, knowing it makes my skin crawl, the fact that I have not beat the game. But I can't beat it.
Is there a difficulty you can lower?
No, I wish, dude. There's ways to like
No
cheese
shame.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's ways to cheese it, and I want to. And then the worst part is like technically I could invite someone to beat it for me, but then I have to get
that's
Xbox
right.
Live. So now I have to pay $20 for a month just for someone to beat my game for me, and I'm like, no, I won't do it. But that's like the one where I can vividly say like, and the reason why it's so frustrating, I guess, the shame aspect of it is just because the fact that like I've literally put in probably just with the DLC alone like 100 hours, and the fact that I haven't beat it yet, just being a skill issue is infuriating to say the least. So
Well, it's
We're
big,
the wise
It's big
DLC.
of you to admit that.
oh
You
no,
know,
I'm
it's the
honest
first-
on this podcast. Yeah, the first step is is
Admitting you
announcing
have a
it,
problem.
admitting
Yeah.
your problem.
So, I did think of mine. It's called Lost Odyssey. It's an Xbox game.
That sounds familiar.
It's a 4-disc game,
What?
Cool.
and it's so much fun. It's a fighting game, and the premise of it, it's these pretty much these ancient creatures. They're not creatures. They're humans, right? Humanoid. There's like a group of 5 of them. One of them betrays them and like erases their memory, and he's trying to take over the world. But the main character is like slowly like gaining his memory back, and he does. So he's got to go find the other 4 and then take down the one that betrayed him. Mm. But the reason I never beat it is because the set that I got, the 4th disc, was all scratched.
Oh,
and
no.
I couldn't play it.
Oh.
And I'm just like, because you're 3 discs in, and you're like, all right, now I got to finish it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I searched around, and so like, no one was selling just the 4th disc. I would have had to buy a whole new. I could probably actually buy the set now for cheap. But I remember
Right.
when
Would
I
you
was
have the
looking
memory?
around.
But like, would you have?
No,
like...
at this point, I'd have to restart.
Oh.
But and at the time, they were only selling because it was shortly after it came out. So it was like,
Yeah.
I would just have to buy the whole new set again.
So this is because this is, you said original Xbox?
360.
So this is like a 10-year-old, 15-year-old game.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I could probably buy it
Probably.
cheap.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But the only problem is, But by the way, Mark right now, he's just got to focus on Hogwarts Legacy.
oh yeah,
I've been itching for
So-
him to play it and everything, and it's taken me so long, and he's finally started up.
Okay.
And he's just like, "Oh, I just made a character, and that's it." I'm like, "Mark."
So admission, I have not beaten Hogwarts Legacy, but I
Oh,
watched
for
my
shame.
wife beat it.
Okay,
So it's like
that
I've
counts.
seen the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, it counts.
Yeah. So Lost Odyssey is that's the
that's the one for
Great
me.
White Buffalo. Yeah.
Mm.
That's a tough man. So how old were you? That's like brutal.
I was in high school, so
Yeah,
my
getting
older
to the
brother
4th.
played it, and he beat it. I didn't watch him beat it though, but I watched him play it at times. I'm like, this looks fun.
So
I
who do you think
started
scratched it?
playing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
It's a who done it. It's a who done it.
That's brutal. That's heartbreaking
I
as
could,
it,
I
man.
could probably guess on who did it, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say names. What about you? What's your
Yeah.
white whale?
So mine is The Witcher 3.
Oh,
I've never.
okay.
It's so fun, and I love the game. And every time I just get to the part where it's the not the butcher, the bishop, you're in the first zone. It's like the training
Yeah,
zone,
I gotta
and then you
remember.
go to the next place, and it's like that. Not bishop, that guy whose like daughter runs away, and you solve that for him.
Yeah,
And it's really
shoot.
compelling. And then every time I get to Novigrad,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
what it
game, I'm a little bit of a completionist when it comes to these open world games. So then the game map explodes, and there's suddenly a million icons on the map, and
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Because it's a big city, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I did the same exact thing.
And I'm
I'll
just
be
like,
honest,
man,
yeah.
this, it just takes the wind out of my sails every time. And I know I could just go down the main quest, it would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could complete the game and have a
Yeah.
great time, and I just cannot make myself do it.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Yeah.
I have a problem. I do the same exact thing. I also have a problem with when games start becoming like too overly complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like crunchy games, but there's times where I'm like, there's almost too much, and that's causing me. Like, I want to complete everything, therefore it's like the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like too much. Because like for a Witcher, you can go full on spells, you can go full on alchemy, you can go full on fighting craft, and then
Yeah.
not only can you do that internally with your character, but then you have all these other side quests that you do, and all other side quests help out some things, but not the other. And it just like builds and builds and builds, which is like what makes the game so good because it's so immersive. But for me, it's like I would have have the same number of side quests, but half the amount of things I can do. Like, don't focus on alchemy so much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, or something like. Then I can kind of walk away. But that game kind of forces you to be good at.
That's one of the
all
games
them.
where you almost have to like set your own limits on like what I'm gonna achieve in this playthrough. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you try to do everything, like
And I can't do that. I don't have
Yeah.
enough willpower to be like,
So
I'm
much.
only going to do this. I'm like, nah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't know what it is about me.
Mm-hmm.
This is group therapy. So I don't know,
right?
man. I'm a completionist.
I know I have a
can't
problem.
Stop.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Level
I can't
everything
stop.
up.
Yeah, that's why Elden Ring is so addicting. Is because it's so like fundamentally simple. You can only hack and slash and move around. It shouldn't be this difficult, but my God, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
So do you foresee yourself getting into because Elden Ring is that your first Dark Souls style game?
I have never played a Dark Souls game. It
'Cause
is,
that's
it
a
is
big-
Dark Souls-esque.
Because that's a big genre now.
Oh no, huge genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a huge genre, and it's the community behind it is so interesting, and they're funny, They're also very harsh. They're very funny though.
So toxic is the word.
Yeah. And because like every single one where you're looking at help, it's like, hey, I don't know how to beat this. Like you can literally be like,
just don't
I don't know where to
suck,
go.
Tony.
And literally every time, it's like without thing, and they'll have the most upvotes. It just says get good every time, and it's like, but they have like funny jokes here and there. Like, but for me, that's just not my thing, dude. I can't do it. There's something about it. I knew it was rough when I was coming upstairs and Jen's like, are you even having fun? Like, she's like, you came down there more happy and you're now coming upstairs like someone just took the wind out of your sails. Because I tried a boss 30 times literally in a night, just keeps dying. And it's like the definition of insanity where like, I'm not changing anything.
You just keep trying.
Yeah. But I'm not changing anything, but I keep trying. But the reason why it's definition of insanity is because sometimes I can get them down to like almost 2 hits. Then other times I die in 4 seconds. It's like, wait, how could I... What? So the random seed, like the variation on each seed that happens is insane. I don't know. So, and that's like one of the big problems.
So what got you into Elden Ring then?
Paul and Joe, peer pressure, dude. Thank God their officers caught me at like 8th grade. No, I'm joking. I'm not that susceptible to peer pressure, but when it comes to games and they're like, dude, this game will change your life. I was
Sadistic
like,
games are cool, Tony. We're all doing it.
Yeah, literally. And I was like, no. And then I relented. And that's why almost the 2 people who forced me to do Elden Ring, and I had that, they're also forced me to watch One Piece. And I was like, no. You know what I mean?
I think you should just not trust these people.
Yeah.
They don't have your best interest in mind.
No, they don't.
You heard it here first. Ben just confirmed that Joe and Paul, No, literally. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just too much. But, yeah, that community is really interesting. And I don't know. You don't play that game to, like, relax.
Right.
Like, you're, like, working out something, I don't know. Like, there's so much other games like that are just insane. But I'm probably more like Mark now where that open world, one player, because like even like Fortnite and stuff, like dude, I got bills, man. It's so hard to lose, and then you just know that there's like 8th graders who are on summer break.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, those games get harder during the summer, and you're like, oh wow, that's because everyone's out for the school year, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
I'm literally getting wrecked by
12-year-olds.
yeah, literally, it's like. Oh, God.
Sometimes you just need a nice, easy side quest,
Yeah.
Just take your mind off.
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just go to the tavern, I don't know. It'd be a lot of fun, but yeah, there's a lot of video games, and I really want to try out Space Marine 2, but that's another game where I'm like, I know I would get sucked in, so I kind of want to keep a safe distance, because that's a whole nother lore, because I'm like a complete... I started
You would
that
get
game,
into
and I
the
know the
Warhammer.
I need to know the legions, I need to know the chapters. I'm already doing that right now, and whenever I mow the lawn, I listen to Lorehammer, so I would just... That's another podcast, but yeah. Yeah, anything else, Ben? Game communities? I mean, we want to circle back to Pokemon at all? Do you have any...
No, just Pokemon's rad.
Any final thoughts? So Professor Oak is a homewrecker. I think
Professor Oak's a homewrecker, but he did get his PhD, so he's...
Wait.
Well, Professor doesn't necessarily...
That's true. They never call him Dr. Oak. That's very true.
Professor Oak,
Well, typically,
so he's just a lecturer.
When you're professor,
He's just Lecturer Oak.
But then they'll call him lecturer. Yeah, they call him professor. Normally, that's
Professor
only
Oak,
dictated by the PhD. But yeah.
I guess final thing to say, Pokemon is not just for kids, man. If you want to keep playing Pokemon, I still play Pokemon to this day. It's freaking rad.
Yeah. Are you on a current playthrough?
I am not. So I finished Arceus. I need
How
to.
do you say that, by the way? Is it
I say
Arceus?
Arceus, but I don't know if there's a agreed way.
Well,
I like how they flipped the script a little and made Pokemon work a little different. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh no, I do like that. Yeah, the fact that
it's really bugging me that I can't think of the new release, the names of them.
We can make you know.
It's
Do you look it up?
Indigo.
No way, it's actually
And
a
Violet.
color.
There's no way. That's not what it is.
Oh no! Let's see. Actually, Ben knew this the whole time.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
The main
returns.
Pokemon are like dragon motorcycles.
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet. Okay, that was close.
That was in 2023.
Yeah. So the next one coming out is actually a sequel. So Pokemon Legends is now its own like genre of Pokemon game.
Oh,
where
they have
it's like
DLCs now.
Yeah.
Whoa! I was like, because that's not the latest. The latest is actually this hidden treasure of Area Zero.
Yeah.
But it's a DLC for Violet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Legend Arceus is now its own subgenre of Pokemon game where it's like open world 3D.
Oh.
Like Pokemon are just walking around. You can just throw balls at them. You don't have to fight to catch them. And so the next one that's coming out is...
It's easier to catch shinies that way, too.
Yes.
You can see them.
Is I think they're calling it Pokemon Legends A to Z, and it's a remake of Pokemon X and Y, which were rad. And
Those
they're
are like
making-
DS, right?
That was, I believe, the first Switch Pokemon. Maybe,
Really? Oh, I don't know why. I thought that was DS still.
maybe not. You might be right.
Well, there's like the 3DS stuff.
The 3DS.
had one.
They might have been 3DS. You
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't
right.
remember how that
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah, so they're remaking those, and it's like back in time too, same how Arceus
Ooh,
was.
sick. Yeah.
So
That is cool.
yeah, so I'm gonna dive into that when that comes out.
That'd
Looking
be
forward
awesome.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. That's exciting. I don't know if I'll. Got the Mass Effect games to go, so
Yeah.
I might give
Yeah.
that a break. But
Yeah.
gotta keep grinding.
Yeah. Also, we didn't really get into it, but Dragon Ball Z is rad.
Oh,
Goku's a terrible father.
Mhm.
Piccolo is the person you should look up to.
I do like Piccolo.
Also, Vegeta, probably the best character arc in all of Dragon Ball Z. So
Do you like him morally as a character? Or...
Vegeta?
Yeah, because I was researching a little bit and I
Yeah.
forgot how much. I was like, oh my gosh, it's honestly I hate to do this, and I forgive me. Vegeta is literally Sasuke,
yes,
and Goku is literally Naruto.
Yes.
Can we just agree with that?
He's also Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can we just
Yeah.
just like after I was like, because I watched Dragon Ball Z growing
Uh-huh.
up, and I started re-looking at it all, and I was going through, and I was like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
this is literally Sasuke, Naruto.
Well, so Vegeta is literally the Parthenax thing. Like he
Mm.
overcame evil because of his care for his family, and then the
Yeah.
penultimate part of his arc is sacrificing himself to try to kill Boo, where he
was
blows
sick.
himself up.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
top 5 anime scenes when Vegeta blows himself up.
And I can hear the yell.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
the yells. That's another thing about Dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
The intensity.
So I know nothing about Dragon Ball Z.
really.
I've never seen an episode. The only thing I know about it is there's a YouTube channel series called Epic Rap Battles of History.
Yes.
And there is a Goku versus Superman, and that is the extent of my Dragon Ball
Yep.
Z knowledge.
Oh, there
Is
is
that
Goku
rap?
versus
There is
Superman.
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think Goku wins, if I remember right.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Well, it's our boy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so.
And so there's also, I guess, one last plug. There's a Dragon Ball Z series on YouTube where it's made by, the channel I think is called Team 4 Star. They redub all of Dragon Ball Z, and it is freaking hilarious. So you should check
Really?
it out sometime.
All right.
It's so funny.
They keep the same lines.
No.
They just-
They redub it, but they're like good
Oh.
voice actors, but it's made to be like a comedy kind of. It's so funny.
That's sick.
Wow.
So
Okay,
I'll send you
have
some
to-
links after this.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. I'll have to take a peek.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, that was one of those shows I watched so young, and I just kind of flushed a lot of it.
Mm.
But then when I was like, because you're like, oh, I might talk about Dragon Ball Z. I was like, this is the best part about Live, Laugh, Lore. I'm like, ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I kind of remember that. And I went back and did some Wikipedia and did all that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much like when you see the first fusion. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh. But that's what
Fusion. Ha!
that's what killed me too, because I remember being like as a kid, where Dragon Ball Z was very, I hate to say like simplistic, but it was very much like this battle is about to occur in a year. Train, and it was like, and then you're as a kid, you're like, oh my god, you got a year. Yeah, and you sit and wait, and then like, all right, the cell, or not the cell, but the automatas or AI, whatever
Yeah,
the
androids.
yeah. Androids are gonna come in 3 years, and they're like, oh, I got train. So it's like this like big like huge arcs, and the arcs were just training and then big boss battle at the end.
Yeah.
Training, big boss battle.
Yeah.
So like it was very easy cycles. The only thing that killed me was like as a kid I really liked it,
Mm-hmm.
but then it got as an adult where I'm like, when they fusion, like
It's two.
Morally,
it's
what?
2 souls.
yeah, it's
in
like,
one
what?
body. Yeah.
How does that? And then it makes them stronger.
Yeah.
But then like Goku and Vegeta can only do it with the earrings, and they like retain something.
Yeah.
I just, like.
Well,
I was
there's
looking
2.
back.
They can do earrings or the fusion dance, and they either become, if they do the earrings, it's Vegito. So Vegeta is the lead personality.
Oh, okay.
If they do the fusion dance, it's Gogeta, and Goku is the lead personality.
Okay, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Okay,
I did remember that
episode
there's two
57, we'll talk about Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
Have me
yeah,
back
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. No. I appreciate that. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, like I said, Ben, we are kind of coming up on it. But yeah, no, we totally appreciate all this information.
Cool.
I would
Yeah,
love
this
to
was
talk
awesome.
more
Thanks for
about
having me, guys.
This
This
is
was
fantastic.
fun. Yeah.
I did not think we could do this much in video games, and I'm
Yeah.
really happy about
Yeah.
it. Like
That was
just thinking back to all this.
That was a trip down memory lane.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really appreciate that. That was
Yeah.
fun.
It was a
And the
good
big
time.
takeaway is Mike's super rad. definitely go to Christmas, Mike. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cousin Mike.
Definitely go,
Yeah. It's been a while, actually, Mike. You know, if you somehow listen to this, number one, that would be wild.
Yeah.
But also, man,
Send it to him.
let's,
We gotta
let's hook up
increase it.
sometime. Get your Canadian viewership.
I
He's
know. I was
Canadian
gonna say,
cousin Mike.
we are solid U.S. So,
Okay, we need. We'll get your Canadian.
We'll diversify.
Tap in. Yeah,
Get
tap
the
in.
numbers up.
It's a
Northern
new market.
Yeah.
It's a new
Northern
market.
market,
You know? We're a pretty serious podcast around here. We want to, our business profile, our model. We're
Exactly.
merging markets. That's what we're going
Yeah,
for.
Tim Hortons, hockey, maple syrup.
Yeah. We'll do a How I Met Your Mother one and just do Barney's. It's like over the top Canadian stuff, or just Letterkenny. Letterkenny would be kind of fun.
Oh, it would
It'd be hard to talk about though without saying because you want to quote them
All
and
the
then
quotes.
you can't.
Yeah.
You can't like cuss.
Be a lot of fool.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Temply bud.
Tarps off, boys.
It's Tilly time.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks everyone for listening, as always. And please reach out to us if you have any questions, mix-ups, what-if ideas, or really any topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah, and like I said, like Live, Laugh, Lore, we've just expanded to video games, so the lore never stops. That's the beautiful part about the podcast. And if you also have any ideas with that, you reach out and you say, hey, where can I reach out? We can go to Instagram or X at the Live, Laugh, Lore Pod, or you can email us at the Live, Laugh, Lore Pod at gmail.com. That's Live, Laugh, Lore Pod, POD, at gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.